Welcome back to another episode and the final episode of Shiboyugi, or playing death games to put food on the table. So in the previous episode we had a very solemn episode. It was very, like, the entire episode just felt very like melancholic, very solemn, very you feel bad, you know, for Moegi, and throughout the entire episode you know where it was leading, and it was just really sad. So Moegi ended up dying, of course, and then the episode ended with Kiara and Yuuki coming face to face. So I feel like this is going to be the match between them. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's gonna be some kind of like psychological match between them, or if they're gonna actually throw fists here, or what's gonna happen. I don't know, but this is gonna be the final episode, so let's find out. At the end of the episode, as always, I'm also gonna give my thoughts on the series, but for now, if you wanna watch this, Uncut and Blood is always on Patreon and description, and let's go into Shiboyugi episode 11. Live. I don't know. Don't are you relief? Oh, was she already like fully... Oh my goodness. Like she was already fully screwed up in the inside because of all the games. Oh my god. What? That's too easy. Uh-oh. Load it up. Oh. Oh, empty. Don't. Oh, just grazed her. Oh, the eye. Oh, what the? It's armed. Oh, she was like cyberware. Empty? Uh-oh. She let you in. She led you into an attack. Oh my goodness, the cotton. Sorry about that. Is it the what? Oh, wait. Are we getting credits in the middle or at the beginning of the episode? That's new. Oh, that's cool. This looks very similar to the episode 1. Oh. Mm-hmm. Man, she's really going through it, huh? She's really tripping. Yuki's character is really interesting because like she's feeling all the horrible things that she's doing, and it's really like messing with her. Mm-hmm. All the people who have died, who have been, who she's gotten kind of a, like at least gotten to know them, maybe not close to them, but gotten to know them a bit. All of the talks that she's had, all the conversations. Such a cool illustration to show the mess of her, like that's going on in her mind. It's so interesting. Moegi. うーん。
私は今でもここに生きた全ての人間が今でもまだ羨ましかった。
うーん。
今でもまだ燃えています。今でもまだ燃えています。今でもまだ燃えています。これは今でもまだ燃えています。悪い枯れた世界の話。
Oh. Full circle.
だけど今でもまだこれは彼女たちが確かに生きた世界の話。私だって泣きすぎだ。
Here she is. Mm-hmm.
さあ、お前はなぜゲームをするんだ。
Man, they really did a good job at illustrating just how messed up her head is right now.
もうわかるよ、お前にも。
I've never seen credits being used as part of the episode like this. This is awesome.
私は悪師さんの弟子だ。あの人の意志は私が継ぐ。99回のクリアは私が達成する。私はこの世界で生きるんだ。
Mm-hmm.
いいよ、おいで。信じろ。お前は肯定することを覚えるんだ。いつもの否定しろじゃないんですか。お前が私よりも長く
Uh-oh.
続けたい。
Barehanded.
私のスタイルにも限界はある。疑うだけではなく信じることも覚えろ。お前は意外と得意なはずだ。
Nice.
どんな気持ちであの人はこれを隠したのか。
What did she hide?
花が
Something's in it.
胸が熱くなった。
Ow. I. She found a weak spot. She's with Moegi.
おかえりなさい。
They're together. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Love. It's not live, it's love. I thought it was live. Love. They actually show the full title. Holy. Holy. What a scene.
やるかい。5人殺したのでいいです。うんざりです。もう金輪際関わりたくないです。こんなゲーム。
And she's back. And the eye. Heterochromia. Or the new eye, I guess.
夕方の5時だった。いつもの活動するタイミングではまだ
The outfit on the floor.
私は考えた。99回を生き延びるのに私がしなければいけないことは何だろう。一つずつ一つずつできることから始めていって、これが最後の一つだった。年齢的には
Ooh, okay.
通るはずなのだが、なぜかものすごく恥ずかしかった。中学を出てあてもない暮らしを続けているうち、人目が怖くて出歩けなくなっていた。金木犀のいい匂いがした。背中にじんわりと温かい熱を感じた。私は歩く。歩き続ける。これから私はこの世界でプレイヤーとして生きていく。これから私はこのゲームを99
I will beat this game 99 times. Not I'll beat 99 games.
これから私は死亡遊戯で飯を食う。
Title drop. Title drop. Cinema. That was a great ending. Is that it? Nope. That was a great ending. Jesus Christ, look at the damage here, man. That's horrible. Also, we're getting to see a bit more of how the games are cleaned up, which is interesting. Just stuff the fluff into body bags. Oh man. I mean, okay, wait, I'm gonna talk about this at the end. Wait, it's the end? Okay, so, like, okay, there were definitely times where the timeline was confusing me a tiny bit, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, we did see the mentor, like, way later after this game, right? At one point, talking to Yuuki and talking about, like, Yuuki going into the 30th game and stuff, right? I'm pretty sure that was all after this game, so I was getting a bit confused. I thought in my mind I had my entire timeline wrong in my head, and I was kind of like, you know what? I was just letting it go because I thought that I was mistaken. But I'm pretty sure we did see the mentor being alive and talking to Yuuki after this game. So, okay. I think so, at least. Unless, once again, the timeline sometimes did confuse me a tiny bit. But either way, that is the ending of Shiboyugi. What an anime. What an ending to this anime as well. Wow. This is... Okay, I want to talk about the anime as a whole, because This is, let me think before I make a big statement here, but this is the most unique anime that I've watched this season. I think it's fair to say that. Yeah, it is. Such a unique anime. The direction of this show was gorgeous. And so creative. I love how creative they got with this direction. And I feel like they did it in a really smart way, because by being this creative, you can, like, when it comes to like animation and stuff, you can make a show look gorgeous like this. And in my opinion, this show looked absolutely gorgeous, by not really relying on things that are a bit more time consuming, like, you know, having a very, very detailed and very, I guess what people would consider outstanding animation, right? Here, you can get away with just incredible direction without even needing too much movement, too much detail when it comes to art and animation, which I think is just incredibly smart. Like, there were most of the scenes in this anime, you can't even see the facial expressions of the characters, and like there's oftentimes just a pause where just a scene lingers without any movement, right, whatsoever. And there were times where I thought that my player froze, because there was just like 30 seconds of uninterrupted, like, still frame. An uninterrupted still frame for like 30 seconds. And I thought, I was like, what's happening? But I think it works so well for this. They established such a cool vibe and such a cool, like, mood to this show. And that's so unique that I haven't seen before. So I think, like, that's just a huge props to the team working on this, to the director working on this as well. Because they made it look so creative, so good, so unique. And it's definitely one of those anime that you remember because of how unique it is, if nothing else, right? So yeah, that was incredible. When it comes to the story, I really, really like the premise of the show. Especially, like, episode 1 is a great hook into it, especially being the double episode. If it wasn't a double episode, I don't think it would have been as big of a hook. So I'm glad that they did make it a double episode. I think that was a really smart decision. I think the first half of the first episode was a bit slower, and then once you see where the show goes, in the second half of the episode, you really get hooked into it, right? It's a very good hook, especially with, like, coupled with the unique direction of the show. So yeah, I think the first episode was fantastic. I do think there were points where, and maybe that's just me thinking, that it got a little bit predictable or repetitive with the entire formula, because it did start doing the thing of, you know, introduce a cast of characters, give them all their backstories, kill them off, rinse and repeat, right? It kind of felt like it was getting a bit to that point where it's just like, oh, this is a new character, here's their backstory, kill them off, right? But I do like what they did here at the end, kind of like showing why they did that, showing how, not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily for us to get attached to all the characters, it was kind of like to show how Yuuki is getting, not attached necessarily, but how Yuuki is feeling about the characters that she has to then kill or witness their deaths, right? Just to give some characterization to the characters that whose deaths Yuuki has to, you know, carry on, which I think is just really interesting, right? And then how that affects Yuuki mentally and stuff like that. I think that's really, really interesting. So yeah, I think this show was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Not a perfect show by any means. I do think, as I said, there were points where I felt kind of confused by the timeline, where I felt kind of confused whether something was happening in the game or outside the game and stuff like that. And I still want to know more about the world, how, like, the rules around it, how it actually works and stuff. But when it comes to everything that I just said, I think it's fantastic. Also, I really like how they are tackling the entire, like, I feel like the thing in the forefront of the show is Yuuki and how she's battling this entire thing, especially in the second half of the show, how she's battling the entire thing of her having to actually kill these people, so many people, and witness their deaths, and how that's, you know, screwing with her mentally. And I think that's really cool. Like, especially this scene here, it sets such a interesting tone to Yuuki, and even if you don't necessarily feel what Yuki's feeling, you can tell what she's feeling, right? By the way that it's presented to you, the vibe of the show tells you, like, the feelings that she's feeling, and I think it's really, really unique, really cool. I really like it. Really well done. Really well done. So I really like this show. I really, really like it. I think it was really interesting. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I wonder where they're gonna go from here. It's definitely one of those shows that if there is going to be a season 2, I want to rewatch it before again to refresh myself on the timeline and stuff, and to actually further solidify the timeline of it, because I do think I'm gonna need it. But yeah, it was a fantastic one. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. But for now, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.